All right, guys, welcome to our team call tonight. What are we, September 4th? We're excited you guys are all here live, excited for those of you catching the recording. This is going to be an awesome call with Miss Tara, who is as close as you can get to diamond. It'll be any day now, I just know it. She has been a coach for exactly 1 year, and she is a Success Club All-Star, which means every single month that she's been a coach, she has hit Success Club. And most of those months has been Success Club 10. So she's helped at least 5 people on average every month for a year, which is pretty impressive. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say, but we like to kick things off with some recognition. So the person that is on my mind right now is also holding a little bub. Miss Jen, literally from the delivery room, signing coaches, posting, sharing her journey. And I just got to say, mad props. The way that you've been talking about this postpartum stuff for 1 week already is just so inspiring and incredible. And I know that it's been a couple of years in the making to have you be so comfortable to share all of that. And I just think that speaks volumes to what coaching can do in your life. And I'm just really happy for you and proud of you and excited for your team that is killing it. So major props, Jen. Thank you. Miss Kim, do you have anybody?
Yeah, no, I was just going to agree. I feel like lately anything I read, anything that's there, I think it was this morning. I don't even remember. Probably was this morning. But it was just like if you don't show people how you move your mountain, people are never going to feel like they can overcome anything. And I just feel like having a baby is hard in itself. And then having to overcome all the emotions, all the hormones, all the things. I feel like using that, and not in I don't mean using it in a businessy way, but just using it to help people is always going to be just a great thing. And so I feel like that's sort of the story for all of us, right? Like we all have a mountain that we've overcome, or we are still on, or we're trying to move out of the way. And if we can use that for, to help others, then I feel like we're doing the right thing always. So, I feel like Maggie sticks out to me a lot right now. She's just in it and, going to medical school now and just getting, all the accolades over there. And yet she's making the time and doing the things. And it's like a fresh perspective, maybe because number one, I was never really great at school. But number two, I feel like it's just so refreshing to be in that young blood again. Sorry that you're young, but you are. Somehow I got there. But anyway, it's neat to see, because I feel like I always say I so wish this would have come into my life back in my early 20s, because my 20s were just so poor as a person. So I wasted so many years doing so many wrong things. And so it just would have been so great if Beachbody would have come. So I think I love seeing just young people see the potential in this business. And I feel you see these women who just took over as being top 1 through 5, and they're not even 30, they're in that generation. And so I feel like you're in a sweet spot, and if you use it right, you're going to just soar. So keep it up. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Hi, Britt. I hate to put you on the spot. I'm not sure if you
any recognition.
Want to say recognition or announcements or anything before Tara takes over?
I don't. Did you guys already give Jen a shout out? Okay. Well,
sorry,
I was thinking about doing it. Yeah, totally fine. She was actually the one I had in mind for my recognition this week. So I think it's totally cool to give her a second one, just because Jen, I just have to, you have always been really inspiring to me, especially over the last couple months, just deciding that you were just going to go all in for it again. And one, you were so consistent throughout your pregnancy, sharing your health and fitness journey. But then even more so over the last couple months, it's just if I hadn't already joined, I would have joined your team. I just think you're awesome.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to shoot it on over to Tara, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I signed up with Andy. She is my coach a year ago, 13 months ago. And if at any point during my talk, if you guys have a question or anything that you want to say, feel free to unmute yourself. And
Tara, before you kick off, just because we're all here and everybody's fresh face, I'm going to take our photo. That way it's done. And then I was just going to remind everyone to mute your end. So that way if you're on your computer, there's no like ticking and clicking and, just other things. But, okay, so really quick, I'm going to take this photo. That way it's done and nobody misses out, because I feel like people miss out and then they're sad, and I don't want you to feel sad. So, okay. And then you can just bring us all your wisdom.
okay.
All right. 3, 2, you got to smile, okay? 3, 2, cheese. Okay, you're good. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so at any point in time, if you guys have anything you want to say, a question, I do not have all the answers, but there are plenty of smart people on this call that do. But I would love to try to answer any questions or give you my personal insight from just what I've experienced in the last 13 months. So start at the beginning. For those of you who don't know my story, I'm going to tell you. So I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. They are 12, 11, and 8. And my husband works, he owns a construction company, so he's gone all the time and working like crazy. So I was a hairdresser before I started with Beachbody. I still very, 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 very part-time do some hair on the side. And I was friends with Andy on Facebook, and I didn't quite know at the time how I knew her, but we had enough mutual friends that I was like watching her stories. And in the time, I always yo-yoed back and forth. I have a thyroid condition, which makes it really hard for me to maintain a weight loss. I have no energy, all the things that come along with having thyroid issues. So my whole life, I either struggled with being overweight or having some sort of an eating disorder, whether it was like starvation, like, doing the starvation diets or doing anything you could to drop quick weight when I started realizing that I had to put weight on. So I lived most of my teenage years and all of my 20s in that mind frame. Having 3 kids in 4 years didn't help that either. So I went back and forth. I'd go to the gym, then I would lose a couple pounds, and then I would, get sick, or a kid would get sick, and then that would derail my gym for months. It would be months before I realized that I hadn't been in a while, and then I would start all over again. So all this time, it's probably like March of last year, I think, is when Andy first reached out to me on Facebook, on Messenger, and invited me to do a challenge group. And I looked at it. I think I ignored it for a little bit, and then I looked at it and read it, and I don't even think I responded to her. But what I did do was I started following her more closely. And so for those of you who are reaching out to people and you message them and they say nothing, when I first started doing that, I immediately thought, like, they hate me. They think I'm very annoying, or they're never going to sign up. They didn't even respond to me, like, cross them off my mind and move on. But you can't do that, because I am one of those people that it took 5 times of Andy reaching out to me before I came around. And when I came around, I was ready and I jumped right in. So she reached out to me for 5 months. And finally, at the 5th month, I don't even know what necessarily got me to engage back and forth with her. But I knew that I was still in the same place. Like, it had been 5 months of me telling her back and forth, like, oh, I am going to the gym already, or I have friends that I work out with, or I'm eating better now, like kind of trying to brush her off, when really all along inside, I knew what she had to offer was something I was interested in, but I wasn't ready to admit that to her. So I just watched, and I watched her stories. And this was the same time that she was going to Summit last year. And I'm the type of person 100% that loves to be around other girls doing fun things. So that piqued my interest right away. I wanted to go to Summit with her. I didn't necessarily want to do Beachbody, but I knew I wanted to go to Summit. So I watched her go to Summit, and she got back. I signed up for her first challenge. And within a week, I was like, okay, let's meet for coffee. I like to meet face to face. I like to talk, and I like a lot of coffee. So I remember saying, hey, let's meet for coffee. I just want to ask you some questions. So we met for coffee, and I signed up as a coach, like 1 weekend to my very first challenge. And ever since then, I have had this fire of that I never thought I even had. I was not the type of person who was like a gym rat or who was really into health and fitness her whole life. Like, that's not me. It just clicked. And I just knew that if this could work for me, the person who has health issues, the person who has 3 kids, who's very busy, who's got a million different directions that she's going in, and if I could still manage to see results from these programs, then I wanted to help other people that were just like me. So fast forward a couple months from when I signed up as a coach. I think I signed up in August or July. And then by November, I had lost 30 pounds and I was like in a whole different place. And since then have maintained that weight loss, which is another huge thing I'll say that kept me going, was that I had finally found something that I could lose weight at and keep it off without feeling like I was like, on this diet that restricted me from everything that I wanted. So that was another reason that kind of fired me up with this whole coaching thing. This is real. This is not like we have something that we sell, but this is a lifestyle that we can offer that will change people's lives. And that's kind of like where I led from in the first few months of coaching. I called all my friends. I called all my friends and my sisters and I said, you're doing this. Like, you really don't have a choice. I signed up as a coach. So as my friend, you have to do this with me. And so that's how I started. I just reached out to all my warm market, all my family. People started asking questions. People started making comments like, oh my gosh, you look so good. What are you doing? And that's like the perfect little segue into like, all that. So that's carried me for the first, I would say 6 months of my business. Like, hitting Success Club was like, really didn't feel like that it was that hard at first. I had so many people that I signed up. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, what I will say is as the months kept going, I let my foot off the gas a little bit. I wasn't searching hashtags. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was just solely putting all my faith into my friends. And that started to die down a little bit. And so I will say that it wasn't until I went to Summit, which was like almost 1 whole year after signing up, that I really started to see it differently. And that's why I think Summit is so important for everybody to go to, because I left there like a different person. Like, I never thought of inviting people as coaches. Like, I always led with like, I need to get Success Club points. Like I just led my whole business with like hitting Success Club 10 every single month. That was my goal. And so my whole focus was finding people to buy a challenge bag. And that works sometimes, but that doesn't always work. People want to see you giving them things. Like my Instagram, my Facebook page needs to offer things to people. I need to be giving tips and tricks and advice and drawing people in to build a relationship with them, to then get them to trust you and join your team or join a challenge group with you. And that's just not the way I saw it for so long. And it's not until I sat down and actually started doing the coach work, which I feel like I really didn't do the first 6 to 7 to 8 months of my business. I was just solely focused on family. And that doesn't work forever. So I knew in the last couple of months that I really needed to dig deep and I really needed to come up with a plan, because what was working before wasn't working necessarily anymore. So one of the things that I would say that I first started doing is like, people always say like, who are you? What's your brand? Who are you trying to look for? And I didn't know. Like, people say, what are 5 things that describe you? And I'm like, coffee, chocolate, wine. My kids love sports. I love watching them play. Like, I didn't really know. Like, you have to physically sit down and write it out. Like, see it on paper, visualize like the type of person that you are and the type of people that you want to attract, because you want to build a team of people like you that, you guys have things in common and like you can run this team as a solid unit together. So that would be my first advice, is to write down literally on paper 5 to 10 things that describe you, because those are the things that you're going to use when you're searching hashtags, because that's something that I literally honestly just started doing. I know some of you have been doing this for a long time, but it didn't click for me. That part of it didn't click for me for a long time. I didn't think it was that important to build a following by searching hashtags. Well, that's why I have like 400 followers, because I haven't been doing that this whole year. So it's not too late. So I started doing that. And like, what I do is I focus every day on one hashtag, because what I was doing is I was searching like thyroid survivor or busy mom. Like I was just kind of running all over the place, searching all these hashtags and kind of getting overwhelmed with all the different people. And so for me personally, I find it easier to pick one hashtag a day and find like 50 new people to follow. Not necessarily that you're inviting 50 new people, but that you're following 50 new people every single day, and switch your hashtag. Like the next day, search a different hashtag. And if you find a hashtag, I will say that I'm mostly on Instagram. I have a Facebook and I have a Facebook fitness page, but I just post on Instagram and it goes to my fitness page. And then I am really big into the stories on Instagram. So when I'm on Instagram, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting in a hashtag. And if you see on the hashtag that there's a ton of Beachbody coaches already either friends with these people or a lot of Beachbody or fitness posts, I usually try to find something that's not so, doesn't have so many Beachbody coaches on it. I think Andy is the one who told me when you're looking at a hashtag, don't find one that's got like 100,000 like posts. You'll get lost in it. I try to stick to like 10,000 to 60,000 because then you're not going to get so lost in the mix. So write down things that describe you so that you kind of know what you're looking for when you're searching hashtags. That would be my first bit of advice. And then just focus on one a day. I tend to get overwhelmed when I feel like there's so many things I need to do as a coach and I just kind of sit and do none of them. Like I just sit and stare, like I have all these thoughts running into my head. So kind of like zero in on one a day. And then find 50 people. It doesn't have to be, like I said, people that you reach out to right away, but you're building your profile then, you're building your clientele, people that could be clients or coaches. So another thing I wanted to say, I hear a lot of coaches talking about, I listened to the National Wake Up Call and I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos from coaches, and all the top coaches say the exact same thing. There's no magic button. There's no easy button. They all say consistency. So consistency every day, all day. That's what you do. That's slowly but surely how you build your business. Showing up every day. Try to do 3 to 6 posts a day on Facebook and Instagram, and then stories. It's a huge thing. People are watching stories. I try to do at least 10 stories a day, and not all fitness related, because if people, when you see the same thing over and over again, people can start to tune you out. So don't be all fitness all the time. You want people to get to know you as a person, because that's who they're following. If they just see fitness, they'll get bored and eventually stop following you. So show them who you are. Like do a couple lifestyle posts. Talk about your kids or talk about your dog or talk about whatever. Don't keep it solely based on fitness, but definitely throw fitness in there. And what I always do is try to do some sort of call to action. I need to be better about doing it every day at the end of the day, but I try to do it at least a few times a week. Whether I'm doing it on people that are following my Insta stories, it'll tell you at the bottom like how many people are watching your stories. And I always click on that and scroll through, and I message at least 10 people a day that are watching my stories. And the other thing I will say is the same people sometimes watch your stories every day and ignore your messages every time. And it's kind of frustrating because you're like, why are you watching my stories? And if you don't care about what I'm doing, but I'm telling you, I was that person for 5 solid months that was watching Andy and then would totally ghost on her. And it wasn't that I didn't care. It was that I wasn't ready, or I was afraid to fail at it. So I didn't want to start it. But so anyway, that being said, don't be frustrated when people ignore you, because you will be ignored, but they are still watching you. So, one of the things I wanted to say was that this August, I struggled big time, hugely. We had some things happen in the family. We went on vacation and I let my foot off the gas. And I checked into my challenge groups every day. I did my workouts. I drank my shake. I posted about it. I didn't reach out. I didn't invite for probably 10 to 12 days in the month of August, like the very first few weeks of August. I did none of that. And then I started stressing out because here, we were in August, like the middle of August. Kids were starting back to school. I had 0 Success Club points. And I was starting to freak out and really hit it hard. And I barely hit Success Club in August, almost like the last day of August. I like sign somebody up. And I honestly didn't used to think that it was a big deal to post every single day or to be consistent. And August really showed me that, like, yeah, you can't just disappear from what you do every day and then expect to jump on and tell someone, hey, I'm doing a group, sign up, and have them be like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. That's typically not what happens. So being consistent and showing up every single day, showing people on social media who you are and what you're about, and letting them get to know you is huge, because that's what builds trust, and that's how you get more people following you. And when you do invite them, it's, even if they're your cold market, it's not really your cold market, because they already know what you're doing and they're choosing to follow you. They're choosing to watch your stories. So if you reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you've been watching my stories. Are you into health and fitness, or are you looking for something like this? Whatever your verbiage is, it's not going to feel like it came out of nowhere, because they know they're following a health and fitness person. So don't be afraid to ask. I think that's one of the things that every month of my coaching business, I get a little bit braver and a little bit braver. Like, there was a group of people for a while that I was afraid to reach out to, and I didn't for the longest time. And finally I was like, why? Like, they know what I'm doing. Like, reach out to them, like, help them. You have something to offer them. Like, don't be afraid to tell them about it. And so I feel like every month I get a little bit braver and a little bit braver. And if you know me from before, you know that I am like deathly afraid of public speaking. Like, anytime Andy would ask me to talk, I'm like, no, like, in a little bit, or I would do it, but I would be sick, like physically sick the whole day thinking about talking. And I just feel like that is one of the things that I have totally I'm still like kind of stuttery and whatever, but I've totally gotten better. And that is seriously thanks to this business and these women, because I have grown like crazy in that department. And I never expected that to be an outcome or a positive thing, a non-scale victory for myself. So there's so many ways that you'll grow as a coach if you put yourself out there and just trust the process and trust that doing the things every day is going to make a difference. And what you do now is not going to, sometimes you won't see the fruit of that for like 3 to 6 months. So if you constantly are doing this, you're going to be seeing future growth every single month from doing it. If you take your foot off the gas and coast because you hit Success Club 6 or whatever, like, you're losing momentum. So even if you hit Success Club, like, keep going. Like, what are your goals as a coach? Like, where do you see your team going, or what kind of a coach do you want to be? Like, keep failing forward in those things. Keep making yourself better and growing as a person, because it's totally worth it. Let's see, there was something else. I just wrote down, like, what I want later needs to be more important than what I want now. Because a lot of the top coaches that I have been watching, they say like, yeah, we don't sit around and watch TV like at night all the time. Like, we maybe lose on some things now because we're trying to build this business. It can't really be built. I mean, it can be built in pockets and here and there, but you can't just take days off and not do the things and then expect that you're going to have progress in the business. So maybe we miss some things now. Maybe we stay up a little bit later and get work done, or maybe we don't sit and watch TV and veg out every single night because we have goals and we have things that we were working towards and we want to be there. If that means we work hard now and in 6 months to a year from now, we are able to quit our job, or we're able to, not stress about a car payment or not stress about babysitting or whatever it is, like, that's totally worth it. So put in the work now because of what you want later. And you will become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So are those people filling your tank? Are they positive people? Are you learning from them, growing from them? Or are you surrounding yourself with people that are negative, that kind of make you feel like what you're doing, maybe you shouldn't be doing? Because so many people will have an opinion about this coaching thing because they don't understand it. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who support you and cheer for you and want what's best for you. Any questions? I'm going to play a little video. That's something I saw today that super inspired me that I wanted to play for you guys. But does anybody have any questions about how I invite, or Success Club, or like getting outside your comfort zone, anything like that?
I have a question.
Yes.
So one of my girls actually just asked me this, and maybe it was like in the
we have so many Vox threads now, who knows where the message came from. But so hearing that Andy reached out to you like 5 months, was that like literally like she just reached out to you every single month for 5 months? And how did that like make you feel? Because I know for me, I'll send a message. I see they read it. They don't respond. I'll wait like a couple of weeks until it actually gets closer to when my deadline is. And then I'll message them one more time. And then maybe the next month I'll message them again. But then I'm like sending like the 4th message in a row. It's like I'll usually be like, should I wait one more month and then just like come back after that? Or should I just keep going? So just hearing more about your story.
Yeah. So when she reached out to me, it was 5 months. So I think that there might have been 1 month in between there that she skipped, but it was like back-to-back months, if I remember correctly. And we had some conversations going back and forth. I think I didn't respond to her first one, and she reached out again saying, hey, just want to make sure you got my message, like blah, blah, blah. And I think I had like literally forgotten. And that's something that I heard today. Like so many people get these messages when they're driving or when they're busy, and they go like, oh, okay, like I'll come back to that, and completely forget. So that's pretty valid. So I think that happened the first time. And then we would talk a little bit here and there. I had just gone to like a Melaleuca party, like the second time she reached out to me. And the person at Melaleuca was trying to get me to be like a seller, like however you call that. And I think I was looking for something because I knew I wanted to get out of my job for doing hair. I knew I wanted something more, and I knew I wanted to do something that was going to be bettering myself. I didn't know what it was. And so it's funny that both of those things kind of came at the same time. And I think I even talked to Andy like, hey, want to like do a Melaleuca party or so? I did something like that, like kind of try to sneak it in there. She's going to ask me for something, I'm going to ask her for something, kind of a thing. And sorry, someone knocked on the door. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so she did reach out to me, and we talked back and forth here and there. And I said things to her like, actually, I just started working out again. Like that was one of my excuses for 1 month. Like I just started working out again with some friends from my kids' school, like some of the other moms, and let's get together. And so I'm good. And then the next month she said, hey, just checking in on you. Like, how's it going at the gym? Like she used what I said as an excuse to like get a conversation going. Like, how's it going at the gym with your friends? Are you still doing that? And I wasn't. Like we had fallen off again. And so I was like, actually, no. And I think that might have been the month that I was like, okay, tell me more about what you're doing. Like, I don't even know. And then it would go quiet. I'd go quiet again because I was busy or whatever it was. But the time that she reached out to me, I'll never forget. I was just like in my house, and she reached out to me, and I was like, man, like, I feel like this is a sign. Like I've been looking for something more. I've been hoping to get out of the hair business more, and I'm doing something else. I needed something. I love community. I love being around women. And here she is again, this Andy girl. And she's asking me to join her group, whatever that means. I mean, she even explained to me what the group was, and I was still kind of like, I don't know. Like, sure. Okay. I don't know what it is. Like, you explained it, but sure, let's do it. Well, sure. And then I like looked at her more and started looking at some of her friends' thing to kind of be like, what is this Beachbody? And I had heard of P90X and stuff, but I still had no clue like the dynamic of the group or what that even looked like. But I knew I needed help. So.
Okay, perfect. So that's helpful because I think too, thinking that knowing that you responded a little bit versus like 5 months of radio silence and just keep sending month after month.
Yeah, I kept it a little bit. And also when I message people and they do the same thing to me, I'll do it for 2 months in a row. Like, cause I always say, well, I write it every month, so I'll keep you posted. And if they say, okay, keep me posted, then I'm like, okay, you just told me to keep you posted. So you better believe I'll be here in 30.
You just subscribe to this newsletter.
Yeah, 28 days from now, here I'll be asking you. And if they say nothing, then the next time around, I message them something like, hey, just tell me if I'm bothering you. Like, I feel like I'm super bothering you. I know we talked about it before, but I haven't heard back from you. So like, if this is not for you, please just tell me. I don't want to be annoying or whatever, because that's kind of my personality. I would say that to anybody. So I'm like, just let me know. And usually they're like, oh my gosh, like, thanks for reaching out to me again. I totally forgot. Like, you're not annoying. I mean, these are people that are not necessarily my friends, but they're more like acquaintances. And so they're like, oh my gosh, thanks for reminding me, like, tell me more or something. So I kind of just try to talk in the message how I would talk in real life.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question, Tara.
Yes.
regarding the Instagram posts and the stories, I'm new to the whole, well, to not to Instagram, but to trying to regularly do it.
Yeah.
And how do you do 10? Like 10 is a really overwhelming number for me. What do you,
Okay.
do you do videos, or do you do pictures, or do you do both, or what are they?
So, I have been trying to do better at like posting on Instagram, because I get so into the stories that I'm like, oh, I didn't post an actual picture that stays there. And that's one of the things that's really important to remember, because your stories go away in 24 hours. And so make sure that you're posting 3 on your actual Instagram. So I try to do more than 3, but like you want one to be like a workout or like a meal picture, and then a lifestyle, and then call to action. But as far as Insta story, is that what you're asking? Stories?
Well, the difference between, because I wasn't quite sure what the difference between, but now you said the 24-hour deal. And then, the 10, like, give me an example of what you would do for stories.
So what I do, I've been trying to wake up early. I feel like I'm really productive when I get up at 5:30. If I'm going to work out in the morning, I get up at 5, but I've been working out at night. So I get up at 5:30 and I go downstairs and I'll do a video like, good morning, here I am making my coffee, or I'll do a boomerang of my coffee being made, or I'll do the sunrise. Like I'll do something kind of like good morning, basically. And then I'll do, it just depends on the day, but I always try to do something that I'm cooking, which is always the same thing, but I don't even care, because that's me. It's what I do. I eat the same thing. So I'll do a food one. I'll do like, right now we're in fall, right? So I have like a plethora of ideas for Insta stories, because everything fall is all I love. So I'll do like going to get, coffee, or meeting up a friend. Like I'll just kind of just your life. Like, what are you doing? Like an Insta story to me is more like follow my life, like follow my day. This is what it looks like. So let me see. Today I was a little bit quiet. I do like, let me see. Oh, so personal development. Like when you're reading and doing your personal development, I snap a picture of myself with my book and my coffee. This morning I did a picture of my son was reading out on the deck. And so I was like, oh, there you go. He's so cute. Picture of him reading his book. Sometimes I do like me in the car. So sometimes I do pictures. Sometimes I do boomerangs. Sometimes I do videos, and I'll get like on a video thing, and I'll do like 5 or 6 in a row, just talking to the camera, like sitting in the pickup line at school. These people are parked all over the place. Like, this is crazy. Like whatever. It just depends on what I'm doing. I go to the nail salon. They talk to me into getting the $5 upgrade. Why do I always do that to myself? You know, I just did that the other day, because literally it's just what happened. This lady said no like 10 times that I didn't want gel, and I left with gel. So I just kind of made fun of myself. It's kind of my thing. That's how I am. So I just kind of be me on Instagram, on Insta stories. If I go shopping, I'll Insta story like my purchases and where I got them from. It just depends. Yeah. And I also video my workouts too.
And Candace, I would add to that. So I think part, I need to be better about figuring out what to do for Insta stories, because when I'm at work, I can't, now that some of my coworkers are following me, like I don't want them to feel like I'm just doing my side job when I should be doing my day job. So I'm going to figure that out. But in terms of what to actually post about, I think it can be easy to think like, oh, I do the same thing every single day. Or like what am I actually going to be posting about? But if you think about everyone's fascination with like reality TV, people just like to see like what you're up to. Like they want to see pictures of your dogs. They want to see pictures of your kids. They want to see like a little boomerang of like Dominic is like walking out of the car on his way to school. Maybe you're just like waving at him like, bye, like people just, and then they just click on to the next one. So, or whatever your order was at Starbucks that day, or whatever, like it's just when you're like heading back out to pick up the kids and you're like, I feel like I just got home. Now I'm on my way out and I don't even have kids and I'm interested in those stories. So like it's just whatever, like honestly, like whatever it is, it's just like a quick clip, like into a look into your life, and people just they're watching the stories because they just want to see what's going on in your life. Like no one's expecting it to be some like amazing thing in 15 seconds,
Yeah, I follow people and I'm like, I almost come to expect like what they're going to post in the morning, but then they go to like they go on a vacation or they go somewhere, and I find myself wondering like, oh, how did it go for them? I don't even know them, but like, I wonder if their vacation was fun. I'm going to check their, like, it's just like she said, you totally get sucked into like the whole reality part of it. Like your BFFs with someone that you don't even know. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm unmuted. Okay. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You, when you see who's watching your Insta stories,
Uh-huh.
like, do you find it creepy? I don't know if you do this, like, hey, she's been watching my stories, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, is that how you intro into it? Because, I mean, I don't know. I've been struggling with that because I did it for one time for one person, and the person responded, oh, I didn't know you could see I was watching.
Yeah. Someone has said that to me. I usually say something, it depends again, like on the person, if I know them or whatever, but I usually say something like, hey, I see that you've been watching my stories. I don't know if you're watching or just flipping by, but I appreciate it. Like, cause sometimes people just like click, 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 and they watch, like they don't really watch. Or even my husband, I was like, oh, did you see that Insta story? It was so funny. He's like, oh, I muted you. Like, I didn't actually listen to what you were saying. I just was watching you. I'm like, you brat. So sometimes people don't hear what you're even saying. They're just like watching you talk, that's kind of weird. But yeah, I'll say something like that. I'll say, hey, I see that you've been watching my stories. Thanks for supporting me in this journey. Like, are you currently doing any kind of a fitness journey? Or I ask them, why are they following me? Sometimes that's a big thing. Like, why are you interested? And again, it just depends on like the relationship you have with the person. If it's someone I know pretty well that keeps dodging me, I'll say, hey, you've been watching my stories long enough. It's time for you to join me now. Like, enough's enough. That just depends.
I have another question.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm full of them. So I've been trying to expand my network, right? And so I've been going on to hashtags and adding people or following them for them to follow me. So if I were to go back to those people and invite them, A, is that weird because I literally they just started following me like 2 days ago or a day ago.
Right.
And B, do you just like the blurb that Andy put in our the other group that we're doing.
Yeah. The 20, September
yes,
20.
The
Yeah.
2020. Do you just do that? You know, like, hey, are you interested in something?
Yeah. So for me, Andy and Britt might have more to say on this, but I literally just started doing this hashtag follow thing, and I've been doing it for probably a week really consistently. And I woke up this morning and there was like 50 new people asking to follow me that I hadn't even followed yet. So I don't know what's happening, but it's starting to happen now, which is cool because it just goes to show you that if you follow people and you do the things, it could be someone who's following someone that you just followed and they saw you and then now they're following you. Like, it just is this domino effect. And so what I usually do, if it's I click on them, I scroll just a couple. I don't go to like forever and waste a bunch of time, maybe 5 or 10 seconds looking at their page and make sure that they're not weird or creepy or have any naked pictures up of anything. And then I like and comment on just like a couple, and not like the first 3, like the most recent 3, because that's kind of weird. Like, you only see like, I don't know. I just try to mix it in a little bit more and find like a couple that stand out to me. I've been searching like football mom lately because we're in football season and I absolutely love watching my boys play football. And so I'll see a bunch of moms who are posting like me pictures of their boys in their jerseys. And so I'll like and comment on those, like, oh, my son's playing too. I really love this time of year. And then I go back through a couple of days later and send an invite. And I do feel like the earlier coach of me would say like, oh my gosh, that's so weird and like sketchy. Like, you don't know the people and you're asking them. But this is how you grow a business, and you have something great to offer them. And I'm so glad Andy reached out to me, even though we didn't have a relationship at that time, because it got me to where I am now. And I'm so grateful. So you might get some people that get offended or that ignore you, but it doesn't matter. You keep going.
I will also add to that. So in terms of if someone just started following you yesterday or the day before and then reaching out to them to message them, I would say kind of mix in maybe more of what Tara was just saying about kind of like interact with them a little bit, only because over the last couple of days, for I don't know what's happening, but something's happening where I've had several random just Beachbody coaches start following me on Instagram. And within the day or two of them actually following me, so it's a little different, they will reach out to me to like invite me to their group or send a message that's like, it's funny because they must be doing some Josh Coates training, who is someone who did a lot of Beachbody coach training. You might be getting sponsored ads from him now, but we all used to listen to him a while ago, and he had a couple scripts he would encourage people to use, and they're using them on me. So it's like funny to think like, oh, this whole full circle, whatever. Also, I do feel like my page is pretty obvious that I'm a coach also. But anyway, and so I would say like when they just have followed me for a day and then like hit me with an invite, it just felt like it was like really, just really quick, as opposed to if they start following you, you interact with them for a day, a couple days where you guys are commenting and liking on each other's stuff and then inviting them, because now you've kind of like established a little bit of like back and forth is what I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it can go either way though, because I've been listening to whatever the Kate Morgan, is she like the new hot thing or whatever her name is? I forget.
We're the new hot thing.
Anyway, I've been just cold messaging a lot of people that I don't know, because that's what she said she did, and she's really successful. And I've actually gotten a lot of people back saying, thank you so much for reaching out. I looked at your page. I'm really inspired by like blah, blah, blah. So I think it can go either way. It just depends on the person. So, and it depends on how you're comfortable with it too. Because if you're kind of shy in your messaging, it's going to come through.
Yeah.
I've been doing kind of what I've been doing on my fitness page for a long time. Like, it's very obvious that it's a fitness page because it's in the name. And on my Instagram, fitness isn't in the name, but if you go to my page, you can tell. So I'll say like, thank you for the mutual follow, and then kind of launch into an invite by saying like, I'm not sure if you caught my post about my online boot camps, but if you're at all interested, let me know. I can shoot you over some more info. Let me know either way. So it's very much like you can totally say no. And I totally understand that some people might not be totally comfortable doing that right away. I get that. I think it depends on kind of what your feed is showing, because the way I just started doing that on Instagram like a week ago, but the way I always looked at it on my fitness page was, it's very obvious that it's a fitness page. It's very obvious that I'm doing something with fitness. So then to extend and say, thank you for liking my page, and then go into an invite, to me isn't weird. Like, they liked my page, they liked some of my posts, whatever. So I've been taking that same approach with Instagram, and I'll see how it turns out. But just like Jen was just saying, the responses that I'm getting back have all been very positive. I haven't had any negative responses. So I'm either getting ignored, which I get ignored all the time anyways. That's fine with whether I'm just being nice or inviting. Or the people who do respond are like, thank you so much. Like, I would totally love more information. I just had a baby. I need to be doing what you're doing. Like, I've been getting that a lot because, of course, I'm targeting new moms. So I think it's kind of two trains of thought. And I think part of it is a comfort level. And part of it is, if you're portraying on your social media what you're doing, then it's not coming out of left field. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. But I'll be honest, it took me a while to get to that point of being comfortable doing that. So.
And then I'll add to that by just saying, like, think about when you're like going to buy a new car and you see the car that you want and you don't buy it and you're thinking about it. And then everywhere you look the rest of that month or whatever, all you see is that car. So it's the same thing. Like, you're planting this little seed, whether or not they even have thought about ever doing a challenge group, and their initial instinct is probably going to be say no thank you, or not right now. Even if they have the money or they want to do it, they'll probably still say not right now because they're just not sure who you are or what's going on, but they'll watch you and that seed will be planted. So that person that says no now might be your person who joins you next month or the following month after watching you. So the more seeds that you plant every single day, the more people you have to talk to again next month and the following month. So
I always liked what Kate says too about, like, she's like, at the end of the day, they're going to unfollow you if they don't. Like, they're going to block you if they're mad, like, or they don't care to ever see your stuff again. But most of them keep watching and they keep watching and they keep watching. And then eventually you ask them and the timing is right and the thing, and away you go. And I think that sometimes people are so afraid, and to even just reach out. And they think it's like this weird, you know, like, I don't know, like almost like they've been waiting for the invite. I feel like I get that a lot. Like, oh, wow, like really? This is for me? I'm like, am I not clear in my messaging? Like I say 49 times a day, hey, if you want to join me, this is for you. But yeah, you're actually invited. For you.
One thing I wanted to say that I forgot to say about what you post on social media or in an Insta story is that when you're posting, like, here's my sweaty selfie, like instead of always every day posting like yourself with your shake or you flexing or whatever, like take a picture and talk about on that post like why it was hard. Like instead of being like, oh, I did it. For those people who aren't doing it, who don't feel like they can do it, you seem like someone who's got it all together that they could never be like. And so instead, be vulnerable in your post, but always end your post with a positive, like, I didn't feel like getting up today. I had a really hard day. I really didn't feel like working out, blah, blah, blah. I'm so glad I have my accountability group, but kind of mixing up how you talk about the struggle and always end your post on a positive note, because you don't want to attract people who are really negative, but you want to attract people who have the same struggles, who really are looking for a way to change. Sorry, super off topic, but.
Perfect. Love it. Are there any more questions, or Tara, anything? You didn't play us your motivational thing.
I will. Whenever you guys are done, I will. Is there any more questions, or are we good? Okay. Well, I'm sure most of you are as obsessed with Rachel Hollis as I am. And she posted something I follow her on Instagram, and this little tiny 2-minute video super inspired me. So I want to play it for you guys. I'm going to hold my phone up and play it. So hopefully you guys can hear it.
Stand back up. Get back up again. Everybody is dying inside this fear of failure, and the truth is the road to success is not one or the other. The road to success is one failure stacked on top of another, stacked on top of another. And you will never know what it feels like to get to the end of this road if you don't stand back up right now and keep going. We are not standing on a mountaintop of success. We are standing on a mountain built of failures, but we're standing on top of them instead of buried underneath them. I just learned a few different ways to not do something. I just learned a few different ways to practice. I just learned a few different ways to take a test. There's a million ways to look at it. Stop looking at it as failure. People think that my dream goes from here to there. Really, your dream goes like this. All around, back up, over here, come back. And it might take a lifetime. Don't tell me you don't have it in you to want something more for your life. Don't tell me you have to give up because it's difficult. This is life or death. This is the difference between living a life you always dreamed of or sitting alongside the death of the person you were meant to become. Failure is a part of growth. Failure is how you become who you were meant to be. If you don't start walking, you're going to never learn to run. And you are never going to blaze the trail for somebody else who comes behind you. You have to stand back up. You have to go again. You have to reach down inside yourself and remember the reason why you started this. My why, for me personally, is I want to live to be a better version of myself every single day. You better find the will to keep going, because if you don't, I promise you, someone else will. If that happens, you will watch someone else achieve your dreams and enjoy the spoils of their hard-fought battle. And if that happens, you will understand one of the greatest lessons in this life. The only thing worse than giving up is wishing that you hadn't.
Boom. Mic drop. Nice. Love it. Anyway,
Best.
If you haven't read her book, go read it. Girl, wash your face.
Good stuff.
Anyway, that's all I had. Hope that you guys can take something away from that and utilize it tomorrow.
Thank you, Tara. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Does anybody have anything else for tonight?
I was just going to tell you that you can make your your Facebook Live videos. You can put them on IGTV. So
I haven't done that yet.
I'm doing that like every day. So as long as it's under 10 minutes, you can, right before when you hit end and it asks you like upload in HD or share, you hit save and it will save to your phone. Then you can upload that to your IGTV. So it's been kind of rad just because it's like.
You say?
What'd you say?
It has to be over 10 minutes?
No, under 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking that'll never happen for me.
Oh, see, that's a problem for me. Long-winded over here. Long-winded.
I'm so glad you told me that because sometimes I think, how does Kim have the time to go live like everywhere?
Nope.
My phone's always blowing up with notifications that Kim's talking again. Okay, question for you, because I've never done an IGTV. Does it show you who's watched it, just like on stories?
I haven't cared that much to know. And I won't say that, I can't even tell you that it's actually done I don't know what it does for me, aside that I'm using an Instagram feature, which I know they like. So whether or not, but do I get to see?
So I have a feeling a lot of you are thinking, what's IGTV versus like a live video on Instagram? So Kim, maybe you can explain it since you've used it.
So IGTV is this little button up here in the corner. Oh, no, you can't see it. If you look on your Instagram, you're on the main page or on your profile, there's a button that says IGTV. So it's just like, it's right next to the highlights. But then if you're on your main page, it's up next to where the messages come in. It's a little like TV with a line in it. So basically, you can go on there and or if you like come across somebody, you'll find that they're on IGTV. So you could watch their stories. But like I was randomly running IGTV and it kind of runs like stories. Like it'll just keep running people you're following. So like Autumn was on there and like just random people. Someone is clicking and it's like going nuts. But anyway, so it tells you who likes it, but it doesn't tell you who views it. So, but again, another way to just build followers or, do the things that Instagram likes.
Well, yeah. And if you are going live on Facebook, that's one thing that always, for me personally, I'm like, do I want to do a bunch of different like 15-second things and say what I want to say right now on Instagram? Like for me, just being real, I typically only have time to do one or the other. Like I have to decide, am I going to go live right now on Facebook or am I going to Insta story this because that's just my life. And by the time I've said it all once, I typically don't go say it on the other platform. So I like this idea that I can go live and then share it on IGTV. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know I was pretty pumped about it because I feel like, I probably I'm like, I've never actually looked at who actually even watches or if there's likes or if there's comments. I didn't know that you could do that. But, I'm not getting a ton, but it's looking, it's like 50 views. So somebody's watching. I don't know who, but somebody.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, so definitely worth, if you're someone who goes live and you want to go live, I feel like it's like a win-win. Like for me, I was like, I want to do both, but I don't have the capacity to go live in both places. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Great tip.
Anyway, that's all I have.
All right, guys. Well, I will post the recording in both team pages to follow.
And I will share that video.
Thank you.
That photo.
I was like, wait, what video? I was listening to every word. All right, guys. Have a great week. You know where to find us if you have any questions or need anything. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Sorry.
Why?
Yeah, Andy, why don't you explain it to Kim?
I'm like, and then I look at you all and nobody's like even reacting. I'm like,
No, I knew.
now I'm even more embarrassed.
It's like, what's the word for it? Like it's whatever. It's like an acronym for
It's
like
a bad word. If you
Yeah.
take all the first letters and put them together.
It's a bad word.
You've never heard that before?
No.
Oh, Kim. How did Kim out of all of us though? With her leg.
I still don't even think I follow. Let me just put it this way. James took away the homework duty for me tonight because he's like, I can't even read the instructions. Do you speak English? You're out. So, you know.
I don't know. I feel like that you probably just did that on purpose so that you didn't have to help with homework duty. Like, I'm just going to do it terrible so you don't ask me to do this.
Literally, I was like, James, you're so smart and so good at math. Like, I
It's
can't
so
believe
attractive.
it's so attractive when you do math. You do math.
I'm just going to go be attracted to you while you do that, but I'm going to be in the other room.
Eating pie and ice cream. Actually, she's right.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, I'm not going to spell it or answer that question, so you can Google it.
Okay.
James will be like, why are you Googling that?
I'll see you next
Oh,
week.
Just
that's
ask
good.
James.
Yeah.
Just ask James.
Okay. I'll see
He'll
you.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or ask Carter. I'm sure.
Carter probably would.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
All right, girls.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.